Today I'm talking to Dr. Valentina Mella, an animal behavior and conservation scientist from the University of Sydney in Australia. Hi, Dr. Mella.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good. Happy World Wildlife Day. In the UN, it is suggested that over 1 million species are threatened with extinction. Wildlife population sizes of amphibians, birds, fish, mammals, and reptiles have all dropped 2/3 since 1970s. Biodiversity means all the different kinds of plants and animals in the world, correct?
Yes, not only plants and animals, also fungi and other little microorganisms that are not included in the animal and plant kingdom. So anything that you can think of.
Cool.
That is alive.
Why is biodiversity important?
Yes, it's important because it provides everything that we need. So if you think about biodiversity, lots of the microorganisms and the plants that you can think of provide, for example, oxygen and clean water. And even for people like farmers and people that work in agriculture, biodiversity is very important because it allows different things to grow in different places. So it's really fundamental for life on Earth.
I didn't know it was that important. What can people do to save animals?
Oh, well, there's lots of things that people can do, and it depends on the animal. But I guess the respect of nature is really, really important, and learning to live together with animals and plants rather than exploit them and destroy ecosystems, because this is really the reason why our Earth is so successful, is because we have such a variety of living things that coexist. So it's really important that we maintain that biodiversity as much as possible, because everything can be a food for something else. And if one of the little thing goes, then it can create a cascade of trouble that we don't want to see.
You were researching koala bears recently, and they have been added this year to the world's endangered species. What does that mean, and what is threatening them?
So it means that unfortunately the population of koalas all around Australia are declining. So the numbers are going down. And this is why they've been added to the list of endangered species. It means that we're seeing less and less little koalas, and we're seeing lots of old ones that are dying, and no new koalas are filling in their spots. And so the numbers are going down. And the threatening issues for koalas are, number one, you can help me with that, I'm sure. What do you think it's number one issue for koalas? They live in trees. What do you think people do to trees?
They cut down trees.
That's right. So that's number one problem. They're destroying their homes. So we're destroying their environment, and that's number one problem for koalas. So number two is disease. So there's lots of diseases that affect koalas, but one in particular is really bad. It's called chlamydia, and it affects their capacity to have babies. And so when they catch it, then they can't have babies anymore. And as you can imagine, if you can't have baby, then the numbers are going to go down, because when the koalas get old and they die, there's no new babies. So that's another very big issue. Climate change is another problem. Koalas don't do well with really hot climate. They live in trees. They don't have a nest. They just sit there. So when it's 45 degrees in Australia, that's how hot, that's Celsius. I don't know if you guys use Fahrenheit, but you will have to convert it if you do. It gets really, really hot, and these poor koalas are sitting in trees, and they there's no shade, there's nothing that they can do to protect themselves from the heat. And with climate change, the days are becoming hotter and hotter, and the koalas just can't sustain this heat, and so they just die. They drop out of trees with heat stress, and they die. And then unfortunately, of course, the other thing that we do is that we have lots of cars on the road and lots of big dogs in the backyard. And when koalas come across the street or in our gardens, they get hurt, and sometimes they get hit by cars and they die, or they can get attacked by dogs. So there's a whole lot of issues for the poor koalas. They're not doing too well.
Yeah, it's sad that they're going extinct.
Yes, very sad.
What do you think kids could do to help?
I think kids have lots of power, and you are on the right track here. So if you spread the word and you remember these when you get older, and don't change your mind or don't get distracted, you remember how important animals are and how important biodiversity is, and you continue to fight for it and raise awareness of how important it is that we protect animals and plants and the ecosystem. I think kids are the future, really. So there's lots that kids can do. And the most important thing is, remember, when you get my age, don't forget that we had this conversation.
Have you ever held a koala?
Yes, lots of them. Only when they're sleeping, though, because they are not as sweet as people think. They're wild animals, so they're very soft, very, very soft, like a teddy bear, but they have really, really sharp and long claws. And if you try to pick them up when they're doing their thing, they don't like it and they scratch you. So it's better to pick them up when they're sleeping, and when they're sleeping, they're like out. They're very good at sleeping, actually.
What would you say to kids who are worried about the future?
I'd say that you're right to be worried, but that you have power to change things, and you really are the future, and we'll be gone and you'll still be here. So if I do my job well, there will still be koalas to protect when you get older, and then you can take over and protect other animals, and make sure that politicians don't destroy this earth.
Other animals are going extinct, like elephants. There's not many of those in Africa either.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering my questions and joining me today on World Wildlife Day. Click the link below to donate to Koala Health Hub. Together, kids can save the world. Please like and subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a lovely night. Is it night there? Looks like it's cold.
It is night right now.
Is it cold?
Yes, very.
Well, you have to come and visit when you can, and I'll take you out to meet the koalas.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.